they constantly disrespected Nuh and the believers. ما نراك اتبعك إلا الذين هم أراذلنا بادي الرأي. They said that we do not see anybody following you anyway, other than the most unintelligent of us. بادي الرأي. بادي الرأي يعني quick to be convinced. يعني feeble-minded, fickle-minded, shallow-minded, easily convinced because they're unintelligent. Yani that they don't require a lot of convincing because they're just simple people. That's the only ones that we see following you. And that constantly was their statement, and they wanted and they desired from Noah to repel them, turn them away. We might listen to you. Get rid of them, we might listen to you. And that was what occurred at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. وَلَا تَتْرُدِ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ. Don't turn away or don't repel those who call upon their Lord day and night, seeking his face. مَا عَلَيْكَ مِنْ حِسَابِهِمْ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. You have no part of their reckoning, and they have no part of your reckoning. فَتَتْرُدَهُمْ. And so you repel them and be from among the losers. And so that was what the kuffar of Quraysh mentioned when the Prophet ﷺ gave da'wah, and he had from his followers those who were considered lowly, Bilal and Suhaib al-Rumi, and the ones, or those who were considered by kuffar of Quraysh lowly, slaves and bondsmen and servants and what have you. Few of the notables and noble and the intelligent and the well-known distinguished poets and what have you, few of them were following you. So remove them and we may have a sitting with you and you give us da'wah. And so that was the call and the statement of the kuffar, ayyuhal ikhwa, who were present at the time of the prophets and the messengers throughout time. And the followers of the prophets and the messengers were generally, usually, those lowly individuals from those areas within the city that were less well-to-do, whose fitar and whose innate natures were unadulterated, were uncorrupted. Thus, when they heard the da'wah of the prophets and the messengers, they recognized it, they accepted it, they inclined towards it, because they were a people whose fitar and their natures were unaffected. And so it was easy for them to accept. When Abu Sufyan, as a non-Muslim, went to Hiraqal in order to speak to him about the Messenger ﷺ and his followers, one of the questions that he asked him was, is it the weak ones that follow him or the notables? He said, the weak ones. And so when he later went, Abu Sufyan thought that was a good thing, it's a good response. The weak ones are not going to be interested in a religion that's followed by the weak. He said, when I asked you, when he later went on to explain, when I asked you, is it the lowly and the weak ones who follow him, or is it the notables? You said the weak ones. He said, وَهُمْ أَتْبَاءُ الرُّسُلِ. And they are the followers of the messengers, historically. And we have an indication likewise of that in Surah Yasin. When Allah Azza wa Jal sent, وَأَرْسَلْنَا إِلَيْهِمْ اثْنَيْنِ, or we sent to them two messengers. فَعَزَّزْنَاهُمْ بِثَالِثٍ, and we strengthened them with a third. And they said, verily, we have been sent to you, mursaleen. Allah Azza wa Jal thereon, after sending them three messengers, and they rejected them, Allah mentioned, وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ يَسْعَى, and they came from the outskirts of the Medina, a man running, saying, Ya qawm ittabi' al-mursaleen, oh my people, follow the messengers. Follow those who do not ask you for any ajr. They don't ask you for any payment or reward for that which they're calling you to. And they are guided. That affair, the people of knowledge mention that there is an indication in that statement that it was the lowly and the less well-to-do that were following the prophets and the messengers, because at that time, the wealthy and the affluent lived in the city centers, and the poorer people lived on the outskirts of the city. In our time, it's reversed for the most part. But at that time, the wealthy lived close to the marketplace, close to where everything was happening. think it's kind of turning around. It's turning back around right now. But at that time, the poor lived on the outskirts. And so Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned, وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ يَسْعَى. They came from the outskirts of the city. A man running, saying, "Oh, my people, follow the prophets." Indicating, Ikhwan, that those who were less well-to-do, those who were not wealthy and affluent necessarily, they have ordinarily, generally been the followers of the prophets and the messengers. And oftentimes we hear the people of Balala and Hawa saying, "Oh, these brothers, unsophisticated, unintelligent brothers, and they need some sophistication." And it's because they haven't been educated, and we hear these type of statements being made by Muslims, knowing, as they should, that the followers of the prophets and the messengers, the majority, were people who were not affluent and not at the higher echelons of society. And they were the poor, those who didn't have much, but their fitr and their innate natures were preserved, were pure. And so when the prophets and the messengers came, they recognized haqq, they gravitated towards it, and they accepted it. And so after this 950 years of da'wah, ayyuhal ikhwatul kiram, Nuh raised his hands and made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.